Hello. The video you are about to see contains images of dolls only.
Hello everybody.
Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday.
And happy welcome back, Mr. B.
I am very glad to be back.
It's nice to have you with us on camera today and to help with this collab with Nicole's little ones.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it.
And this is reborn babies that feel as well as look real. We're going to discuss this, talk about this, and show you a couple of my favourite examples of the same. And so who do you have?
I have the lovely Lake today.
Now, we'll go into Lake in a minute because I'm going to change her in a few.
Right.
But first of all, I want to show you a baby that if you have been watching me for a while, you'll know. This is Luke. This is my Bonnie Brown Levi. Darling, can I have your ducky? Can I have your ducky? Thank you. I need that. Let's put it over there. You can have it back. Now, Levi is a wonderful sculpt. Lots of people say he's their favourite sculpt of all time. I'm just going to remove his knitted cardigan she needs because it's icicles bicycle weather out there, colder than. But what I do tend to find is that these lovely knitted cardigans bulk the babies up some, and I really want you to be able to see his shape. Can you just put that on the table for me a minute?
Of course.
Thank you so much. I want you to be able to see his shape, and I want you to be able to see what I'm talking about. So yeah, Luke, people say he looks so real, he's so lovely the way he can position, he's so natural. And it's perfectly true. The way that he's sculpted has a lot to do with the reason why, even though he's made of very hard, not very hard, but firm artist's vinyl. He feels so incredibly real when I hold him. And first of all, his legs are so curly, his arms are so curly. If I turn him this way, just turn your head a little way, darling. He is the most wonderful baby for the curl-ups. And I do think that this is a lovely way to have him. Can you see him okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So I've just put him back where he was. It's such a lovely way to have him. But there's more to making a baby feel real in your arms than just the way it's, not just that a big thing, than the way it's sculpted. A sculptor can do the best job in the world, and yet you can receive a baby, or I can receive a baby and get it out of its box, and my heart can sink because it just feels not real to me. Now, I should go on that this is very much a matter of personal taste. It depends what's important to you. Some people don't mind too much how their babies feel as long as they're, soft and squishy inside and they look beautiful. Sometimes you have a full body vinyl baby which can be posed for pictures in all kinds of ways, and to me, I've had a full body vinyl baby, my dear little Will, and full body vinyls to me don't feel real at all, as don't full body silicones. More about that later. But a baby needs to feel, in my personal opinion, real to cuddle and hold, or I can't bond with it. It just is as simple as that. So what is it that makes Luke here feel as real as he does? This is nothing to do with me. I haven't done any work on him because I haven't needed to. Luke was reborn by Precious Baby Nursery, and Jilly Clark is an expert at making her babies feel absolutely real. And I think what goes inside a baby is as important as the paintwork you do outside. I really do believe that. Over the last few months, since I learned how to disassemble, restuff and weight and reassemble babies, I've learned a lot about what can come out of a baby that might look beautiful but doesn't feel right. So I would always use as good quality stuffing material as I could afford. I would never use something like that you could just buy off a shelf, or something from the inside of a pillow. That just is something I wouldn't do, because I know that it will clump, it will compact, it will go lumpy, and the baby won't stay feeling real. And the other thing is weighting. Now, weighting, as I said to you yesterday, is a matter of personal taste. Some people don't like the babies too heavy. Some people don't like, as I don't, their babies to be very light. But what is important is that the baby's weighted so that he balances nicely and holds in your arms so that he feels like a baby and not like a toy. Let me show you here. Turn over, sweetie pie. Luke, I would guess, has some weight in his bottom from what I'm feeling. And that's a good place to start. Because a nice, round, plump baby bottom is something that you really want to see. It makes that shape look right from the back, but it also makes the baby feel right. Let's turn your head, sweetheart, so that you're not suffocating. There we go. It also makes the baby feel right from the back. Those bare ears, aren't they cute? Can't resist pulling them. And so if I get a baby with a straight up and down body and a bottom that isn't a bottom, I know that I'm in trouble. And then we have more weighting in the middle of him. He's got just a little bit of a firmness around his tummy, just here. Excuse me, my precious. Sorry for pinching and poking you.
You'll get upset, you will.
I know. And then the most important thing, this is very undignified. Can you see this? He's got some bend in him. Now, this is something that I didn't used to do particularly well. And Nicole taught me how to weight babies, and I used to put as much weight and as much stuffing in as possible, and my poor babies were like little rocks. But I've come to realise that the shape of a baby and the feel of a baby is really important, and the baby's got to be, yes, protected with stuffing so you don't feel the crunch of the beads. That's really important. But also it needs to have some give so that it moves in your arms and it curls and it moves where you want it to.
And that you don't hear the crunch of the beads as well.
Do you remember poor little Ethan?
Yes. I mean, when you were moving Luke just then, you couldn't really hear anything untoward, could you?
No.
It was just as he would expect it to be. So that's quite important.
Absolutely. And then another really, really, really important thing that you'd be surprised how many people forget, or how many babies I've seen where people have forgotten it, let's qualify my statement here, is the head. For a baby to feel real to me, again, I'm qualifying my statement, is a baby's head has to be weighted so that it doesn't tilt too far back. And I have one baby that I've done that's not right, which I need to fix, because the head flops backwards. And it doesn't wobble too much, but it wobbles enough. Can you see how weighted that is if I let go? Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
That it does need support. But if I sit Luke up and just balance him, that head isn't going to wobble. It's beautifully weighted, perfectly weighted and perfectly balanced. So you do need to, it is something that I have had to practice, let's say. It's something I've had to practice a lot. And it really, really is something that I really appreciate in a good reborn artist who's really taken trouble to make the baby feel as well as look as real as it possibly can. So that is my take on making a vinyl baby feel real. And I'm really happy that a lot of my babies now feel lovely and real. And I'm getting round to being where I can actually fix the ones that need work so that they feel more real to me. Now let's swap babies a minute, so we'll be back in 1 second and we'll talk about silicone. So here I am with this beautiful, gorgeous little girl. This is Michelle Fagan's Charlotte. This is our Lake Emilia. And I'm just going to start to change her because she's still in her Christmas outfit, which is a disgrace actually. Okay, sweetheart, let's get you out of here. Now, silicone has an advantage in that it does feel incredibly real to the touch where vinyl doesn't. So
that's my main thing. One of the reasons I really like Lake is because she does feel absolutely wonderful. You just put your hand on her skin, on her hands, and you think, wow, she is really good. And I know what you're going to say a little bit later on, I'm quite sure, about the head and so on. Perhaps we'll talk about that. But
I wasn't going to say a thing about the head, actually.
Well, all right. Well, I will then in a little bit, because perhaps we can talk about it. Yeah. But I love her hair on her head. I think it's really good. When I look at Luke's head, it doesn't quite, to me, give the same emotion as Lake would, for example, because it does have a very painted feel about it. It isn't smooth. It has a roughened texture to the head. And I quite understand why that is. But what we're doing here is we're talking about what makes a baby feel good real. Personally to you. And to me, while I love the vinyl babies very much, it does give that sense of this is manufactured,
Right, let me tell you what I'm going to put on Lake before I put it on her. This is a gorgeous little outfit. This is Nutmeg, and it is pink leggings with bunnies and flowers and butterflies, with bows at the bottoms, and then a white tunic, is it white?
Yes.
Yeah, a white long tunic that is an A-line. It fluffs out to an eyelet lace frill at the hem, and it has embroidered flowers, bunnies and butterflies. You see that flower button there? Isn't that sweet?
Oh, that's cute. I didn't notice that before.
Yeah, and it is just incredibly sweet. So I'm going to put this on. Now, this head thing, you've raised an interesting point, Mr. B. Now, it's funny, but I was rooted hair all the way when there's a headband to match here as well, which I can't exactly find at this particular second. Yeah, I was rooted hair all the way when I started. I would not consider a painted hair baby. And I thought the same as you, that the rooted hair was the only way for a real feeling baby. Painted hair felt rough, it felt manufactured, and I can't find my headband. Where's it gone? Oh, there it is. It wasn't ever going to be good enough, blah, blah, blah. But it's funny, as I've kind of gone on and had more and more babies, rooted hair makes sort of fuzzy wuzzies the head to me. I like to feel the shape of the head, especially if it's a really well sculpted head, like say a Bonnie Brown's. I like to feel the shape of it. I like to feel the bone structure. And I think rooted hair, if it's well rooted, is beautiful like this. If it's badly rooted, it's a nightmare. We all know that. But the thing is that rooted hair, even the best rooting, usually can't be ever as fine and as quite as real looking as the realist good painted hair can. That's just my take on it. And again, that's personal opinion, and I could be wrong. But I think some of my painted hair babies have realer looking hair than the rooted hair ones. So yeah, you pays your money, which is quite literal because rooted hair babies are more expensive than painted hair ones, and you takes your choice. So I'm getting to where I love my painted hair babies.
Does it not depend upon the way that the artist has constructed the vinyl? I don't know much about it.
No, it's nothing to do with the artist.
The only reason I ask about it, or the person that's designed the sculpt, the only reason I'm asking, I'm just sitting here thinking about hands now, and I want to come back to the head in a minute, but hands, I'm holding Luke's hands here, and they again are roughened. Okay, there's a roughened feel about them. But if I feel Lake's hands, it's completely different because it's silicone, it's not vinyl. But Lacey is vinyl as well, isn't she?
Yeah.
And her hands they're softer, they're more real feeling than Luke's hands might be, for instance. So how does that come about then?
Because that's to do with the way that some babies are painted, darling. I think you'll find with these babies, they have a very textured look to their skin, which makes their skin look very real. Painting is not my field of expertise,
No.
so please correct me if I'm wrong here. But from what I've learned, the paint, you can sort of texture paint to texture skin, and also varnish is used to seal the baby, to give the skin a matte look, so that the babies don't shine, because shiny babies look plasticky, you know?
Yeah.
So that is another thing that sometimes can make a baby not feel as smooth. But then you see, too smooth is not good, because do you know Jordan?
Yes.
He hasn't been varnished. He's shiny. He's a satin finish, and he's shiny, and he's too smooth. He's too slick, and he just doesn't. I love him to bits, but I'd love to get him redone, or at least revarnished, because he really does need it. He needs a coat of varnish on him. But let's go back to silicone. You said you wanted to talk about the hands?
I want to talk about the head, actually, and there are other things that I've thought about as well.
Go on.
So the head, Lake's head, I love Lake. She is, I think, the best baby in my opinion. But there is a problem with the head. We can't get away from that, can we? It is very floppy.
Yes.
Why is that?
Because a silicone head is extremely heavy. And unless you cable it up so tight that it can't even move, and even then I think you'd have problems. You are always going to have problems with the weight of a silicone head. And the bigger the silicone baby, the floppier the head is going to be.
Right, so that's a factor of silicone.
That's
then.
a factor of silicone.
Right.
But look at the way Lake holds her arms out at you. She can actually hold her arms out to say, pick me up, pick me up. She's so cute.
She is.
Oh, where's her headband? Here we are. But yes, Lake, you see, this is a weird thing. It's so personal, this. Lake feels real to the touch, but she doesn't feel so real to me. I'm not so bonded with her as Mr. B is, because she doesn't feel as snuggly to me. She's beautifully weighted, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with the way she's weighted. She's actually quite firm, but she is beautifully, weighted and done, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with her. But silicone just doesn't touch my heart in the same way.
I guess you can't, can I say you sometimes perhaps a little bit fearful of silicone, because by touching her, which is what we're talking about here, she is delicate.
Yes.
She can't be held and snuggled in quite the same way.
you can have later.
I'll have laid back, as you could a vinyl
careful,
baby, for
pick her up.
instance. I'll pick her up now.
Be careful of her headband. I've got her all nice and lovely.
Okay, I've got her now.
Come here to mummy, my precious. Oh. But yeah, so, to me, silicone is delicate. I've never been as comfortable with it as I am with a vinyl baby. And I had a full body silicone. I have a full body silicone. She's a beautiful, beautiful baby. But unless you pay $50,000 maybe, or a lot of money, and you get a squishy belly and a spine and a skeleton and things, and even then I still don't think you'd get as much cuddle factor as a cloth body that has been really well stuffed and weighted, and beautifully done in that way, because a piece of silicone, I just don't think it feels anything like a real baby. It just feels like a piece of silicone to me.
There is one other element that we haven't touched on yet, and that is in relation to the vinyl and how good they are. And that is, when we unbox a baby and we take the baby out of the golden box, obviously we do it in stages, don't we?
Yes.
We expose the feet first, and then the hands. And I think that's really good, because it gives you a chance to have a look from a tactile perspective of what the baby is like. We often focus on the feet, and you talk about the rolls on the legs and things like that.
That's all to do with the sculpting.
Yes, you can really feel those, and it's important for us to talk about that, because they are very, very identifiable from a tactile point of view.
Very much so, as well as from a visual point of view. I've seen lots of lovely videos which have given me very good ideas about what a kit's like, of people going over the details of their new baby, and they've said, look at the creases here and the rolls here, and this dimples here and this, that and the other, and that isn't so much to do with painting, although it is to do with painting, that everything's made to look so beautiful, as it is to do with sculpting. So
when you're changing a baby and whatever, and you have a look and you have a feel of all that texture on the skin and the different things like the rolls, and particularly the hands. Often we remark on the hands of a particular baby.
Always.
Does that kind of make you fill with wonder a little bit
as
well?
It does. It really does. A baby with really nice hands is just a joy. When I saw Joey's hands, my Jana Kazmarchak April, it was just such an amazing thing, because he has such wonderful hands. We have some very lovely hands, don't we? Marinelle's hands.
Oh, definitely, yes.
And Mike has beautiful hands.
Yes, she does.
She has beautiful hands. So that's just a little bit about where we're coming from, about babies that feel real. Some people might think, and I have heard it said, not in a nasty way, but I've heard it said, I wondered why some people who couldn't see the babies would love Reborn babies so much. But it's not about so much seeing them for us, though I do like to know that they're as beautiful as can be. It's about the feel. So a baby that feels real is very important to us, isn't it, Miss Bean?
Oh, it really is, yes. And we hope that you found all these discussion points interesting.
So we're very lucky in that in Lake and Luke, we kind of have the best of both worlds here.
Yes.
A little bit. We don't have many silicones now, but the ones we do have, we really like. And we have plenty of real feeling vinyls, don't we?
Oh, we do, yes. Yeah.
So, are you about done?
I've finished now.
Yeah,
Yes.
I've finished now. We won't be here tomorrow because Ria's not here on Thursdays, but we will be back on Friday. I do not know what's happening. We shall just have to wait and see. In the meantime, take care of yourselves.
And enjoy your babies, whether you're looking at them or feeling them.
Or both.
And let's be good to each other.
Bye bye.
Bye.